Good morning and welcome to Motivational Monday here on the Step by Step Listening page. I'm Cheryl Andrews, I'm the founder, and today I want to talk about who's motivating the motivator. One of the biggest challenges I have when I work with clients is they're often the person who has to put the positive front on. So they're the boss, the leader, the manager within their business. So they have to show up, they have to shine. They may be the motivator, the inspirer within their family unit. So they're the person that holds it together, that's always strong. And so no matter what they're thinking or feeling, they come home and they hold that space. And I want to talk about, who's motivating the motivator, because it's really easy if you're the kind of person who's really good at listening or really good at doing, a term I've heard today in one of the groups, we've been talking about people pleasing. So you're really good at suppressing, holding back how you're feeling and thinking in order to make other people happy and make them content. And what I will say to you is, us as professional listeners, when we're doing that with our clients, what we do is we take time out and we speak to somebody else who's our supervisor so that we can process the information. But ultimately, what we do need is space and time to either talk through, think through, or simply just to process those feelings. Otherwise, what happens is we end up feeling demotivated but not really understanding why. So you start thinking, I've lost my mojo, that kind of feeling. But nearly always it's because we've put motivating other people as a priority and we haven't got enough space in our diary, in our life, just to stop and reconnect with our own well-being and our own sense of self. So I'd love to hear from you. Who motivates you? Are you motivated by watching videos like this? Are you motivated by things that you read? Are you motivated by doing things? And when you lose your mojo, when you lose your motivation and drive to take action, who do you turn to? Now, I have a 3-step signature system, which is all about clarity of what you want. So it's really listening to what you're saying, because often we can talk about what we don't want, and that can be very demotivating, and it's very hard for other people to support us. So get very clear about what you do want. That's how I find my motivation. If I find myself feeling a bit sluggish and feeling a bit like, the first thing I do is I think about what would I like to have happen. I might write it down. If that doesn't work, then I have to have someone I can talk to, someone I'm accountable, someone else that's going to listen to what I'm saying in case I'm just not hearing exactly what I'm saying or the way that I'm saying it, because they'll pick something up. The next thing is confidence. So with really talking about motivation is think about what is your process for motivation. I'm always motivated by the fact that something I'm going to do is going to have a positive impact on other people. Now, one of the hard lessons I had to learn through life is that I would see someone who's unhappy. I would assume that I could do something to make them happy. I would do that thing and then they'd still be unhappy. And then that would kind of like backfire on my motivation. And I hear people doing this all the time. And the number one reason that happened is I didn't even check that they wanted the help. I was driven by the fact that I could see them in pain and that made me feel uncomfortable. And actually my driver was to get them to be happy in order to get rid of my uncomfortable feeling. Whereas actually learning to be okay with being uncomfortable and accepting that everybody won't be happy all of the time and that they have got the resources within them to create the change they want in their life, and actually asking, how can I best support you, has meant that I've created space in my diary I can sort of ease up. So somebody who's very close to me this week, I asked them how I could best support them, and they said, just be okay with me not being okay. And so give them space to be sad at the moment, give them space to think, give them space to work out what they're going to do instead of keep trying to fix it, trying to push it forward. Because as someone's quite motivated, I quite like to do things. And actually, by asking a question and listening without judgment, I've been able to find out how to step back. So it's understanding your own process. I call it the confidence thing. It's about knowing who you are. So I know that I'm motivated by helping other people. So I'm in the process at the moment of developing the online program called Do, Delegate or Ditch, which will work alongside my book that's being published in March next year. But I always need to know that somebody wants it. So I've already got somebody who's asked to buy the book. I've got 7 people in a mastermind group. The fact that they're in the group means I know that they want it. So therefore I know I'm not doing it for anything. I'm doing it for somebody that actually wants it. I see loads of people in business and in families doing loads and loads and loads and loads of stuff for people to make them happy, but they didn't even check if that's what they wanted in the first place. So check about your motivators. They're great when they're working, but they're a pain in the neck when they're not. So if you're driven to achieve things by pleasing other people, first of all, check what it is they want to have happen. And if you find yourself resenting that over time, double check with yourself what you want to have happen, because if you don't include yourself in the outcome, you will lose motivation at the end of the cycle. It won't maintain, it won't have the momentum it needs to have to go forward. Hi Susie, who's just joined us, and we've got a hello from Step by Step Listening. Those who don't know, Susie is my Facebook manager. She helps me to manage all these Facebook pages and my groups by creating beautiful visuals for me, and also sharing posts when I get really busy helping other people. So one of the motivations for me is that I know I have to be clear in order for Susie to be able to actually do her job. So again, my motivator is about helping other people. So 3 steps of this process then: clarity, confidence, change. So one of the things about change is setting yourself personal development tasks. What's the thing you're going to do to get you closer to where you want to be? And if you do one thing today, I would also say to you, not only set yourself personal development tasks to go forward about change, but make sure you look back and celebrate the changes that have happened. One of the things I see that makes our motivation fizzle, if you like, die, it loses its energy, is because it always feels like we're having to strive forward, always strive forward, instead of reflecting back and actually celebrating the progress that's being made. So over the last few weeks, I've been working really hard on the book, but it feels like nothing's coming together. So I've been back through all of my notes and actually realizing that things are starting to form. They're starting to make more sense, and actually I've got a lot more written down than I thought I did. And by doing that, instantly the motivation's there that I'm getting somewhere. Susie put, oops, changed it to me now. Good morning, Susie. So Susie, the subject today is who is motivating the motivator. I think a lot of us, particularly you in your role, we spend a lot of time supporting others, caring for others. So my question really today is, who motivates you? How do you get motivated? Let's share in this link what works for you to be motivated and what works to maintain that. What I'm learning for me is that I can't stay on that high all the time. Those of you who know me on my personal page will know that over the weekend I actually slept for 28 hours out of 33. So I went to bed at 11 o'clock on Saturday night. And apart from 5 hours where I got up during the afternoon on Sunday, I slept until 7:30 this morning. I was absolutely exhausted. My brain has been working at 100 miles an hour, trying to process stuff for the book, trying to process stuff for the online program, being there for my family, being there for my clients, preparing for the writing retreat that's coming up, the writing challenge that starts Wednesday. And at the end of the day, the best motivation I can give myself right now was actually to take some time off and stop thinking about stuff so much. So I have cleared my diary a little bit last week and just allowed myself to rest. So my best motivator for me right now is actually peace and quiet. Susie, you and my husband are my biggest motivators. To me, I realised you meant me then. So your driver is that you wish to continue living the dream. So I know that those who don't know, Susie works and lives in Kefalonia. I'm very lucky. I'm going out to see her next week. We have our coaching session next week, so it just seemed like a really good idea to plan my whole week's holiday around coming out to see you. So I'd love to know what it is that's driving you right now, because I really feel that the brain is hardwired to, you can push away from fear or you can push towards pleasure. And whilst I think the away factors do work, I don't think they work for our mental health and well-being very well. I think fear, unfortunately, does get results and it does push us to work hard, but I don't think it's sustainable. So actually about having clarity of what we want, confidence in how we do it, and then being able to celebrate those changes and set yourself small personal development tasks of little things you're going to do on a regular basis is far more effective on a health and mental health and well-being perspective. And I know that Susie, you've got your surroundings around, you've got visual reminders all the time of what you want and where you are, but we constantly are working at always celebrating what is working and recognizing that money does come, that clients do turn up, that we just have to keep showing up as the best version of ourselves. And if motivating everybody else and not taking time out to take care of yourself is exhausting you, then you will lose your motivation, you lose your sparkle, and things start to fizzle. And what I really want for you guys this week is to have all the motivation and drive that you can to achieve your dreams, and that be okay with taking a rest. You don't need to do it full time. You can do spurts of things in order to take you towards your goal, and it's okay to switch off and rest your mind, rest your body, and just be present with the people that really matter to you right now. So tell me what you need and want from me right now. I really want to know, what's your greatest challenge with motivation? What's your critic saying? What's the story you're telling yourself that's stopping you from getting where you want to be? And if where you want to be is just present to what's happening right now, tell me what's happening in your world, and I can then use that information to create programs, to create resources, to create videos, to create blogs that can support you going forward. Wishing you a fantastic week. Hope you have an amazing week, and I'll speak to you all soon.